who are about to welcome these amazing airmen into our formations, we want you to know what that looks like, what they're experiencing in real time, and hear straight from them about their expectations of each and every one of us. So with that, I'm excited to have our panelists share their part of the early journey of an airman and hear from those impacted by their efforts. So first is Technical Sergeant Michelle Arce. Her hometown is Miami, Florida, and she is an enlisted accessions recruiter located in Melbourne, Florida, and she is a member of the 333rd Recruiting Squadron. Sergeant Arce, who's that sitting next to you?
Thank you, Chief, for asking. This is William Sullivan. He is my special warfare recruit. He's been in the process for a few months now, and you can probably bet he's not shaving that mustache anytime soon.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to be here. And man, this is something, I tell you what. And yeah, she's right. This mustache ain't coming off till I get on that bus.
Mr. Sullivan is originally from Cortez, Colorado, and like she said, he is projected into special warfare and he's in the delayed entry program. Also joining us today is Airman Basic Dominique Gutierrez. He's from Houston, Texas, and he just arrived to Shepherd Air Force Base and he's awaiting to start his heavy aircraft avionics training. His first duty station, McConnell Air Force Base, and he's been in our Air Force 11 weeks. Representing our military training instructors is Technical Sergeant Caitlin Oquendo. She's originally from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, currently stationed at Lackland Air Force Base, and she's been in our Air Force 7 years. Next to her is, that's right, there we go, let's do it. Next to her is Staff Sergeant Michael Castro. His hometown is Guam, USA, and he's also stationed at Lackland Air Force Base. He's been in our Air Force 11 years. Next to him is Technical, there we go, yes. Technical Sergeant Benjamin Patillo is an instructor supervisor in Security Forces Technical Training. He's from Kansas City, Missouri, and he's also stationed at Lackland and been in our Air Force 11 years. And rounding out our panel is a recent tech training graduate, Airman First Class, Drew Wolf. Hometown, Elizabeth City, North Carolina, and he's been in our Air Force 7 months, headed to Aviano Air Base, Italy. Outstanding, all right. Sergeant Arce, can you give us an overview, ma'am, of what it is that you do to recruit and inspire citizens?
Thank you for the question, Chief. So when it comes to inspiring citizens and connecting with those citizens, we have to start off with events such as the Space Coast Enlistment Ceremony, where we actually team up with other branches and other recruits and invite people over to commemorate these individuals that are about to take a new path in life. Events like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, where we'll actually bring special warfare operators out to teach an open mat session and provide insight on what it's like to be an airman, but specifically a special warfare airman. And also to mentor and guide these young individuals that don't necessarily know what they want to do. And when it comes to inspiring service, it's connecting with those individuals like schools, where maybe college isn't for them, or they want to use us as a stepping stone of some sort and gain some benefits that'll last them a lifetime. Biggest thing is really just providing that mentorship and sharing real life stories by bringing people from the base to talk to the public. But I believe that's about it.
That's awesome. Thank you, ma'am. So while you're doing that, how do you prepare them for basic military training prior to their departure?
Sure. So we have an app that is called the Aim High app. On the Aim High app, there's things such as memory work. We start off every delayed entry program call by singing the Air Force song, stating the Airman's Creed, and then practicing the ranks, whether it's enlisted, officer, preparing them for their physical fitness tests, like that new 2-mile that is punching a lot of people in the gut. But also, when it comes to these special warfare airmen, is putting them into this development program, starting off with a diagnostic fitness test, giving them a baseline of where they're at and how they can improve, and then eventually moving on to those initial fitness tests, where they are allowed to get a contract from that point on and eventually transition into being a special warfare airman.
Wow, that's pretty exciting. So, Mr. Sullivan, what led you to contact your Air Force recruiter?
Thank you, Chief Master Sergeant. Really, it's the Air Force's just long-standing legacy of greatness. The service to the people of this country that you guys do, and to the other men and women that are in our nation's fighting force, and that's something I want to be a part of.
Well, we're excited to welcome you to our family. So during this process, while you've been in the delayed entry program, can you share with us how Sergeant Arcee has kept you engaged and motivated to be a future airman?
Yes, ma'am, of course. Sergeant Arcee's been great. I mean, from her devotion to just showing up to the developments and leading us and giving us the introduction of what it's going to be like, physically from the training and just to the knowledge that she shares. She's been great. She's been there and present anytime I have questions, just ready to answer all the unknowns that lies in the transition from civilian to airman. And she's been awesome. I'm really thankful for her.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. All right, well, let's see here. Technical Sergeant Oquendo, ma'am, can you share with us how the basic military training we remember has evolved to what it is today?
Great question, Chief. I would say technology definitely has evolved from when I went to BMT and how it is now, especially for all the older individuals later in the past.
She was talking to us.
I would say technology went inside BMT, and I would say outside. So for inside, we don't use any BMT study guides anymore. It's now tablets. So there is this system called Sergo, Sergo that they use where they are following along the lessons as we're teaching them. They can also be self-efficient to where they can read the lessons themselves whenever they're studying on their own. And I would say outside of BMT, I would say social media platforms. There is a lot of YouTube videos that have welcome to BMT day one, or what to expect on BMT day one from like the tech schoolers that recently graduated, and they tell their 7 weeks journey in BMT. So I do believe technology has evolved throughout from back then to how it is now.
Back then, I'm having visions of my portfolio. Does anybody miss their portfolio? That's pretty awesome. So, Sergeant Oquendo, can you share the difference between 0 week and graduation, and as you see your trainees hit their objectives?
So for 0 week, there's civilians. They don't know anything about military. They don't know structure, standards, nothing. And throughout our job as military training instructors is to instill that in them, to show them what discipline is, to show them what structure is, to show them what the military life is. Also, to be humans. We wear this hat, everyone is scared and everything, but in reality, we're all humans. Throughout BMT, we also show them what it's like to have timelines to make sure that the littlest thing in BMT matters, because we have to relay it to how it is in the operational Air Force. Also, how it is outside of BMT. Throughout the 7 weeks, you'll see them develop. There is individuals who are a little bit rotten apples, who just don't want to better themselves. And those are the individuals that won't make it to graduation. But for the 90% of all the other individuals, they make it. They graduate. They're very motivated to be in the Air Force. They talk about tech school, and they talk about everything else outside. Also, while we teach our lessons, we also make sure we bring our personal life, as in our personal experience in the Air Force, in the lesson, so they can understand there's more outside of BMT. There's real life stuff outside of BMT.
That's outstanding. And from someone who literally just graduated basic military training, Airman Basic Gutierrez, what did you know and what did you expect when you departed for BMT? And can you share those experiences with us?
Yes, ma'am, of course. Thank you for asking, ma'am. Some of the things I did expect were because of my amazing recruiter. He helped me get set up with the Aim High app, like mentioned earlier. It prepared me for things like the memory work, understanding chain of command, understanding little things, even for me as a civilian at the time, understanding, the Air Force song, Airman's Creed, kind of thinking like, what am I learning this for? Like a song, I'm supposed to be joining the military, And those were the things that prepared me, Air Force recruiters do a great job at that, and yeah, that's what happened. I came in and my expectations were met, yeah.
Fantastic. So your recruiter prepared you. How did you see your warrior ethos, your wingmanship, and your understanding of being an airman evolve?
Thank you for asking, ma'am. One thing I would say, especially for my warrior ethos and wingmanship, and how it evolved is kind of how my understanding of what hunger meant. During BMT, there's a lot of opportunities to grow. There's a lot of opportunities to stand out, and due to the amazing work of the MTIs at BMT, they push that. You can come in with motivation, but how long is that motivation going to last you? They do an amazing job at pushing your limits. No matter what point in your life you come in, they're always going to stretch it out. They're always going to push those buttons that you don't think about. She had mentioned, even the littlest things matter. And they do a great job. They do a great job at transitioning you from a civilian to the airman you're going to become.
That's awesome. So you're at this pivotal point now. You're waiting to start technical training. What do you hope to experience and take out of the timeline that it takes to develop those skills?
Some things that I do hope to take out of this is that I can maintain my dedication to the Air Force through this. During AIT, there's a lot of opportunities that allow you to push for more. Currently, I'm pushing for the Black Rope program. I recently got my Black Rope, and during AIT, there's so many opportunities like that, and I hope that even when I do go past AIT school, there's more opportunities like that to grow and have more opportunities to become successful in the Air Force like that.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we've got some individuals to your left that are going to help out with that. Staff Sergeant Castro, you and your team welcome the recent graduates from basic military training. Can you share with us how you prepare those students that are not in technical training?
Yeah, so when they initially come from BMT, they're in this structured environment. So my goal, my responsibility is to take those foundations that airmen have learned in BMT and keep building on that while they're in tech school their entire time. So if that's giving them more opportunities outside to show their development as being more self-disciplined, more self-reliant on themselves, I want them to be in an environment where they're not afraid to make mistakes. They still have us there to coach them, to mentor them when they do. They're expected to make mistakes. And so that's one way that I provide that opportunity for them.
So as they're learning, what are some of the ways that you help motivate and inspire them outside of the classroom?
So every airman's not the same. And that's one of the challenges as a leader in that aspect. The first thing I do is I find the why. Why is this, what motivates this airman to do the things they do? And once I find that why, I connect that to what I'm asking them to do, what I'm requiring them to do. That's the most effective way that I've seen a task get accomplished, or me ask for something or require something of them and it gets accomplished, is finding that why.
Yeah, you've got a lot that you have to do to keep them motivated. And so how does your role prepare them for the operational Air Force?
So like I said earlier, giving them opportunities to be more self-reliant on themselves so they're not having to rely on an NCO. My goal for every airman going through tech school is I want to be able to develop them So much so that when I put that, when we send them off operational, their NCOs that are there are able to build off of that, not have to start over.
Outstanding. Well, you have a teammate right next to you. Technical Sergeant Patillo is a 3P0 instructor, defender. In basic military training, Sergeant Patillo, an airman's day is structured and scheduled. But at tech training, they have to balance personal freedom and weekends off and the access to the outside world with a demanding academic requirement. What are the challenges you see students face during this transition, and how do you help them navigate the shift so they don't lose their focus or their discipline?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges, especially when it comes to tech school, is that these airmen come in and now all these outside influences are bleeding into it, right? They go to BMT, most of their communication, their freedom is taken from them. So when they come into tech school, not completely given back to them, but some of it's still given back to them. So myself, Sergeant Castro, part of our job is knowing how to navigate with that with the airmen, right? Believe you me, if we had 1.4 thousand airman wolves, my job, his job would be way easier, right? But that's not how it is. So we have to make sure that all of these airmen that are coming in know how to circumvent the military lifestyle with that outside lifestyle.
Yeah, that does become a challenge. But they come with strengths and a new way of understanding and processing information. And so what is a major strength that you see from our newest airmen coming into your classrooms today? And how are you adapting your instruction style as well as leveraging those strengths?
They're informed. It's crazy because I'll have airmen come in. The Security Force Academy is built into 3 different blocks, and I teach out of Block 3, which is primarily Camp Bullis. They show up, and like one of the first things they ask us is like, "Hey, sir, I want to go K9, Cadam, Raven, Dagger, Ranger, Air Assault, Airborne." Like they know all this stuff already. So I got to give it up to the recruiters and MTIs because these airmen are coming in. They already know what they want, which is awesome. It helps myself, my cadre team, the MTLs. It helps us know, hey, what do you want to strive to get to? And, you know, one airman might want to go K9. One airman might want to go Cadam. That's cool. When they're in the training, we can help put them on that path. They're still doing the same standards as everyone else, but we can still sprinkle in those ideas for them to help them with that.
That's awesome. And the results of your hard work are really sitting right next to you to your left. Airman First Class Wolf, congratulations on your recent graduation from Security Forces Tech Training.
Thank you, Chief.
And as you as you reflect, what were you expecting when you stepped on the yard and started technical training?
Kind of reminds me of when I first thought about getting into the military, seeing how every single person I see in uniform, chill as a cucumber, they look great, they are under pressure, they're amazing, everything is squared away. And then when I got into technical training, and my expectation was to learn characteristics and skills that emphasize that. And the opportunities, the stress that the military and the character that they helped me build has just made it that much easier to see the things I looked up to and just work towards it. It was amazing.
That's awesome. So would you say that your training prepared you for the Air Force? And do you have a moment that you can share with us during that experience and that preparation that your new AFSC as a defender has prepared you as an airman?
Thank you, Chief. Love the question. How the training has prepared me for the Air Force, I would say the biggest thing is going through the basic defenders course is how to be a proper wingman. We go through it the whole time through BMT and then through tech school. You're never going in alone. You're always working with the team. You always have to look at each other and have each other's back because you're never going to be at the gate by yourself. And there's going to be those rare circumstances where things are wrong, where you have to do things by yourself. So rare. But at the end of the day, you know someone's going to come help you out. You know you have a buddy. You know someone's going to come and watch your six or cover your corner. And going through that, especially through tech school, and when you get to Block 3, it's At Camp Bullis, you work as a team. You have wingman. You have to be a wingman at Camp Bullis. You go ahead, and there's circumstances where you are clearing rooms, and you go, hey, one person rushes in, now you just get blown up because 2-3 people didn't come in behind you. Or the instances in like Block 2 where you go in, you do combatives, and you have to take down your opponent, and you have to work as a team to do it. So working as a team and having that wingman mentality and focusing on that, because that's the biggest thing we do in the Air Force. There's rarely any instance where you succeed by yourself. You always have that person with you. And that's how we work in the Air Force as a team.
I don't know about y'all, but I heard a mic drop on that one. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. You've provided an insight on what it takes on a daily basis through the initial pipeline that prepares our airmen for leaders in this room. To all of our teammates here in the room, our airmen deserve your very, very best. They come ready, motivated, prepared, and inspired to grow into the leaders our Air Force needs and America deserves. You see the caliber that's on its way. We have work to do, but I have no doubt that each and every one of us is going to do that. This journey of an airman is how we develop the enlisted force. And now we're going to transition to our AETC panelists, focus on the enlisted force structure. Thank you.
Thank you, teammates. Ladies and gentlemen in the audience, please stay in place while we immediately transition to our next panel, Developing the Enlisted Force. While we wait, please let me highlight that on the screens after every session, you'll see AFSA QR codes. Please feel free to scan these to receive completion certificates for each event.